I hope you're all doing well today. Happy Monday. uh, as everybody knows, Chantal made landfall yesterday morning about 2 a.m., 3 a.m. around this area here in South Carolina. Uh, its remnants are slowly moving northeastward, um, and will continue to um, produce some heavy rainfall over the next day or two in this area, but it's likely to keep moving, so it won't be catastrophic. But you can see the upper level flow starting to shear it apart. And if you look at the long wave, the convection is waning somewhat. Either way, there's been a lot of rain and some gusty winds and on the coast, and there was some flood warning yesterday. A few tornadoes reported. So that's pretty typical what happens with tropical systems that come on shore in the U.S. Um, so if you look down here in Texas, step back a minute, the brighter colors on here, as y'all probably know, means higher cloud tops, which usually leads to stronger storms, or that's what it means. This is kind of the leftover uh, I don't know, convection or the remnants of Barry that's been there for several days now. I was reading last night that now they've confirmed over 50 people have died as a result of the flooding past several days. It's just horrible, especially hear about children. And unfortunately, the flooding occurred on a river that is probably the most easiest to flood in the whole United States, Guadalupe River. Flash floods happen quite frequently, but this one was extreme to say the least. So, yesterday we had some severe weather up in this area. Today there's even a bigger threat for that. Mostly hail and high winds. A lower tornado risk today. uh, what I'm going to do now is show you the observed precip that's occurred over the past 168 hours ending Sunday, July 6th, 8 a.m. This really doesn't show the precip totals from Chantal that well, but you can see down in Texas they had 10, 15, in some cases 20 inches of rain, and that's just horrible. Other areas, there was over the past 168 hours they've had a lot of rain, but not focused over such a short period of time like they did there. So what's driving this in these systems here? This is the upper level jet stream that I show you quite often. You have your at 200 millibars, which is way up there. That's what drives our weather every day. The darker colors here indicate faster winds. You can see 100 knots, 102 knots. That's that's way up there in the upper levels. Anyway, that drives our weather. We have an upper level low off the coast of California. that's going to move, kind of just spin there. You can see the energy moving through the flow here, and this and the high pressure that was kind of offshore here, and what Chantal's on the western side of this will be moved off into out to sea in the upper level jet stream anyway. You see the upper level high building over the desert southwest over time, which tends to amplify the flow. So you still have two jet streams here, northern and southern subtropical jet. And where they meet is sometimes where you can get severe weather chances. High pressure continues to build over desert southwest, well, and you have the polar jet way up there. But then where they combine over the northeast, you have really high winds. What that usually means when you have high pressure like this at the surface is hot temperatures. This is through the 10th. Upper level flow flattens some, and you get a trough up in the northwest part of the U.S. and a little bit of troughiness along the east here, upper level low over here out in Canada. The ridge flattens out some as this moves through. We're likely going to see a severe weather threat accompany this, depending on how the rest of the flow progresses. So, what does that mean for temps at the surface? Um, if we go back to the daily maximum temps every day, today, going to be hot in the southeast, especially. Northern tier of the U.S. is going to be a little bit cooler after those systems have moved through. Pretty much most of the U.S. is going to be pretty hot. Upper 90s for 90 plus in a good part of the country here. Let's look at the min temps too. Northern tier is actually quite nice in the 50s, but most of the country 60s, 70s at night. Thankfully, no 80s except in the desert, but that's not unexpected. Day 3, that's July 9th. Really getting hot out in the Central Plains of the Midwest, 100. Well, cooling off again up there and down in the southeast a little bit, probably due to precip. Um, but you can see the trend here. It's going to be quite warm, and the National Weather Service has um, outlined for Peachtree City, for Georgia, has outlined the heat index forecast here for the next during this week. You see for Macon, which is close to Warner Robins here where I live, heat index is going to be over 100 for most every day. Almost, even in Atlanta, Athens, most of Georgia, heat index is going to be quite high, cooling off a little bit towards the end of the week. So, going to be a hot week for us here. As far as rainfall goes, still anticipating some rainfall in Texas, of course, where the remnants of Chantal is, and where other storms fire in the U.S. like 6 hours. This ends July 8th now. See the precipitation. They're still showing some in Texas, which is just incredible. I hope that doesn't happen. And you see precip returning um, down here in Georgia and most of the east of the Rockies, really. Let's look at feature radar for the country here. Remnants of Chantal out here. This not a feature radar. This just gives an idea of what you think, what the models think precip will be. This is the European model. It's a global model. But if we switch to the short range model, let's go to let's see what it says, and we'll go to this is what it thinks the radar is going to show. Storms firing over the upper Midwest, near where they think severe is going to, and off the spine of the Rockies. Showers and thunderstorms, possibly, and different pop-up storms in the southeast. Complex of storms over middle part of the country and in Texas. Looks like a bony segment down here, kind of dying off, and then picking back up again. As we kind of talked about, you have some really storms really popping off here in the mid-Atlantic and moving offshore. So overall, it's driven by mesoscale, which are features that are more localized about, and not synoptic scale things. But today, severe weather. Let's look at what severe weather is for today. We have 2 and 5% chance of tornadoes in the middle part of the country, with 30%. Well, a big area of possibility of high winds, with a large 15% and a smaller 30% region with a 10% hatched, which means 10% chance of or more of wind gusts 64 knots or greater within 25 miles of a point. Hail, kind of around the same area. Threat lessens with no tornado threat tomorrow. Wind threat moves south and east with a small hail threat in the plains in Texas. Day 3, Moser risk up north here. These are just probabilities at this point. So we'll just have to see how that goes. Let's look what the National Hurricane Center has on their map here. It looks like the disturbance they were thought might form looks less likely that it will form at this point. And then there's another possibility of something else forming out here, but that's only 20%. And there's no, as of right now, there's nothing in the pipeline for the Atlantic tropical season, which we could use a break for a few days anyway. Anyway, I appreciate y'all listening in. As always, I appreciate everybody, and hope you have a great day.